Hello and welcome to Spectrum Television News at 4. I am Uyai and Nekan coming to you live from Uyo, the capital city of Akwa Ibom State, Nigeria. Let's take a look at some of the headlines. Federal government to grill N-Power consultants plan 5 million jobs. Court sentences ASP Vandi to death for murder of Bolanle Rahim. Plus, Israel's military says it regained control of communities in Gaza border. We will bring you details of these stories and more in a moment. Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. We begin the news from the national scene where the federal government has provided more reasons why it decided to suspend the N-Power program, stating that the scheme had ghost beneficiaries, while some of its consultants were currently withholding participants' funds. Reports say over 1 million Nigerians had lost their jobs under the N-Power program following the indefinite suspension of the scheme by the government, as announced by the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Betta Edu. Recall that the N-Power program was established by the administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari to address youth unemployment, as beneficiaries were paid 30,000 naira monthly stipend. Meanwhile, the national program manager N-Power Kindele Ebowalo stated that the scheme had ghost workers that should be eliminated, adding that the ministry will partner with the ICPC to investigate the scheme. In the meantime, the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Betta Edu, says the federal government will launch the conditional cash transfer policy for 15 million households on October the 17th, 2023. Speaking during an interview, the minister revealed that with the approval from the president, which we hope to get this week, on the 17th of October, we will be officially launching the conditional cash transfer to 15 million households in Nigeria. According to her, the ministry is working with stakeholders across the country to get a credible register of beneficiaries. Meanwhile, the Minister of State for Environment, Isaac Salako, has asked Nigerians resident on floodplains, particularly those by River Benue, to move to higher grounds. Salako made this call in a statement signed by the head of press and public relations in the ministry, Ibrahim Haruna, following the flood prediction issued for October 3rd through the 7th by the Federal Ministry of Environment, National Flood Early Warning System, HERB. The minister stated that reports from Adamawa and Taraba State had shown that the predicted flooding was already taking place, hence the need for urgent actions by all stakeholders in flood management nationwide. We move now to the red chambers, where the Senate has called for the privatization of moribund oil refineries owned by the federal government. The call was made by the Senate through its Committee on Finance, chaired by Senator representing Niger East and a member of the All Progressives Congress, Sani Musa. Musa made the call in Abuja while fielding questions from newsmen on the way forward after the celebration of the country's 63rd independence anniversary. According to him, the refineries have more or less turned into bottomless pits for the government as far as turnaround maintenance was concerned. In a separate development, the Minister of Women Affairs, Uju Kennedy, has expressed disapproval of the actions of an Abuja hospital that shot out a dying victim after a violent attack on a one-chance bus, saying she will ensure such an incident does not reoccur. Speaking in a live broadcast, the minister promised to pay the hospital a visit to fight for the late great nurse Olorunfemi, She expressed her concerns about the incident and vowed to investigate further reports, saying Olurufemi, a young lady, was stabbed after boarding the bus posing as a commercial vehicle along the Maitama-Kubwa highway. Before being thrown out into the street, she was rushed to Maitama General Hospital, but the facility did not attend to her for lack of a police report. On judicial matters, the Lagos State High Court sitting at the Tafawa Balewa Square Annex, Igbosere, Lagos Island, has convicted and sentenced to death by hanging a suspended Assistant Superintendent of Police ASP Drambi Vandi for the murder of Lagos-based lawyer Omobolanle Rahim. Justice Ibironke Harrison held after prosecution that the Lagos State government has proven the case against the convict beyond all reasonable doubt. Recall that on January 16, the Lagos State government arraigned Vandi before the court for shooting to death the 41-year-old pregnant lawyer at the Aja Underbridge checkpoint on December 25, 2022. The convict faced a one-count charge of murder contrary to Section 223 of the Criminal Law of Lagos State 2015. In another development, the Nigerian Union of Teachers NUT Federal Capital Territory Wing has suspended its ongoing strike for 6 weeks following the intervention of the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike. The chairman of the union, Stephen Kembaye, confirmed the suspension in an interview with newsmen in Abuja today. Kembaye said the strike was suspended from October 2nd to November 13 to implement commitments by the chairman of the 6 area councils and the FCT minister. Recall that the NUT in FCT on September 11 embarked on an indefinite strike over unpaid 40% peculiar and other outstanding allowances. Other concerns of the teachers included non-payment of 25 months arrears of the 2019 approved national minimum wage, non-release of some promotion letters to beneficiaries, and non-implementation of released promotion letters. We move now to Africa, where the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and the World Bank are gathering in Marrakesh, Morocco, this week for their annual meeting, 50 years since their last gathering on the continent. Reports say the two institutions traditionally hold their week-long meeting away from their Washington headquarters every 2 or 3 years. Meanwhile, after 2 postponements due to the COVID-19 pandemic and the threat of a third delay due to last month's earthquake in Morocco, the meeting will finally kick off today. Still in Africa, the Democratic Republic of Congo's leader Felix Tshisekedi has submitted his candidacy for a second term in office, joining a crowded list of presidential hopefuls, including opposition heavyweight and a Nobel Peace Prize winner. Reports say the country is due to hold parliamentary and presidential votes on December 20. Meanwhile, Tshisekedi, who came to power after an election in 2018, officially submitted his candidacy for a second 5-year term in office in the capital, Kinshasa. On the foreign scene, Israel's military says troops are in full control of all communities along the border with Gaza. A military spokesman said fighting between troops and Palestinian militants in several areas had become isolated, warning that militants might still be at large. Reports say at least 700 people in Israel have been killed and almost 500 people have also been killed in Gaza in retaliatory Israeli strikes. Meanwhile, Israel's defense minister said he had ordered a complete siege of Gaza, cutting off its supplies of power, fuel, and food. Still on the foreign scene, Romania and Hungary has evacuated 460 of the citizens out of Israel in the wake of an ongoing multi-front attack by Gaza militants. According to the Romanian ministry, a total of 245 persons were flown out of Israel to Romania. 4 planes flew to Israel, 2 of them from the state-owned airline Tarom and 2 others from private airlines. They added that 2 groups of pilgrims were among the evacuees. Meanwhile, Hungary's Foreign Minister Peter Szijjártó said the Hungarian Air Force planes landed at Budapest airport and 215 Hungarian citizens were airlifted out of Tel Aviv on 2 military planes following the large-scale attacks by Hamas militants on Israel. Still to come in the news. Osho blames poor finishing for Akwa United's draw with Sporting Lagos in NPFL games. Stay tuned for details of these and more after the break.
One truth not often told is about the transformation that Africa has undergone in recent decades. Africa is shaping its own destiny and should be referred to as the African opportunity. On Spotlight Africa, we paint the African picture the African way, laced with truth, detail, and the color of the African continent. Join Uyai Anyekan every Tuesday and Thursdays at 4:30 p.m. Spotlight Africa, telling the African story.
Business exists only to meet the needs of the people, but there's an extra advantage if your product and services are pitched on a platform that gives you the added advantage over your competitors. For your desired return on investment and so much more, advertise on Spectrum Television, on StarTime's DTH Channel 421 and on free-to-air with a frequency of 12733. Spectrum Television, broadening your horizon.
Spectrum TV, broadening your horizon.
Thanks for staying tuned and now to the rest of the news stories. On our business news, the federal government, through the Association of Power Generation Companies, APGC, has grown the power capacity of the national grid from 13,000 megawatts recorded a few years ago to about 14,000 megawatts. The APGC's Executive Secretary, Joy Ogaji, disclosed this while speaking on the sideline of the Association of Energy Correspondents of Nigeria's 2023 Annual International Strategic Conference. Ogaji explained that the increase was brought about due to the addition of a $1.3 billion Niger state-based 700 megawatt Zungeru hydroelectric plant, which came onto the stream in the second quarter of the year. Still in business, the federal government will restart the Trader Money Scheme in November, with each beneficiary getting 50,000 naira to support their business. Speaking in an interview, the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Dr. Betta Edu, said the government is set to relaunch the Trader Money Scheme. According to her, the interest-free loan scheme for traders started in 2018 and has been on hold for some time. Betta confirmed that the scheme has not been scrapped, disclosing that the first search will be starting in November with 1 big market per central district. 109 markets and traders in their shops in their given markets will be given 50,000 naira, beg your pardon, as support for their businesses. In health, as the world marks World Mental Health Day today, a mental health expert and the founder of the Mental Health Deity Foundation, Dr. Adedotun Esan, has appealed to the federal government to decriminalize suicide and attempted suicide in Nigeria. She urged that anyone who tries to kill himself needs help, not punishment, and should not be put behind bars, and called for the integration of mental health services into the nation's primary health care. Esan further said, according to the World Health Organization, WHO, more than 700,000 people take their own lives every year, and criminalizing suicide only serves to exacerbate people's distress, while decriminalization of suicide and suicide attempts was a critical step that governments can take in their efforts to prevent suicide. Still in health, the federal government has approved the appointment of doctors, nurses, and other clinical health care workers as contract staff after attaining their compulsory retirement age or years. In a circular, the Federal Ministry of Health directed the chief executive agencies, chief medical directors, and heads of regulatory bodies and schools to ensure compliance with the circular earlier issued by the Office of the Head of the Civil Service of the Federation, OHCSF, to all staff in their institutions. The government, however, said the appointed contract staff would be on the same salary scale level that they retired on if they desire and deserve it. Recall that the office of the OHCSF had, in a circular dated August 30, rejected the upward review of the current retirement age of medical, dental consultants and other health professionals from 60 to 70 and 75 respectively. Moving down to sports, Accra United head coach Fatai Osho has blamed poor finishing for his side's failure to beat Sporting Lagos in their Nigeria Premier Football League Match Day 2 encounter. The Promise Keepers were held to a 0-0 draw by the NPFL New Boys at the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium. Osho's side dominated possession in the game but failed to break down the opposition's defense. Accra United have picked just 1 point from their opening 2 games of the season. Still in sports, the UK and Republic of Ireland are set to be announced as hosts of the 2028 European Championships at the Union of European Football Associations UEFA meeting in Switzerland on Tuesday. According to reports, the five-nation bid is now running unopposed after Turkey withdrew from the process last week. Turkey merged their Euro 2032 bid with Italy in July and are set to be confirmed as joint hosts for that tournament. Meanwhile, the UK and Republic of Ireland are focused on a Euro 2028 bid with UEFA's approval when they ended a plan to be Euro's preferred candidate for the 2030 World Cup. On our entertainment news, Michael Schiarello, a celebrity chef who hosted his own Food Network show, has died after suffering an allergic reaction. His company, Grupo Schiarello, announced in a statement that the former Food Network star passed away at the age of 61 at a hospital in Nepal, Kaliv, after being treated there for the past week for an acute allergic reaction that had held to the anaphylactic shock. The group added that he spent his final moments surrounded by family and friends. The statement further read that they deeply mourn the loss of the beloved patriarch Michael. His culinary brilliance, boundless creativity, and unwavering commitment to family were at the core of his being. He brought people together through the joy of shared meals, fostering lasting memories around the table and pouring love into each meal. Still on entertainment, Big Brother Naija All-Stars winner Ilabaye Odinia, popularly known as Ilabaye, has said she would give 12 million naira to her church as tithe from the 120 million naira prize money she won from the reality show. Recall that Ilabaye, a 22-year-old Kogi-born model, beat 5 other finalists to emerge winner of the BB Naija All-Stars season on October 1st. She was presented with a check for 120 million and a brand new car at the prize presentation ceremony. Meanwhile, Labaye said she would give part of the money to her church to express gratitude to God for her victory. And that's all we have for you at this time. Do well to follow us on social media. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, spectrumtv.ng. You have been watching Spectrum Television News at 4. I am Uyai Aneka, and thanks for watching, and enjoy the rest of your day.